You're about to watch me sew my dress for graduation photo shoot. Hello, I'm Larry and welcome back to Sew Blogs, my personal fashion and sewing journey. Graduation was 2 weeks ago. My diploma and certs are here. And I want to relive graduation in a dress that I love. Plus my granny's asking for photos, so I figured why not run this occasion back. For materials, we're going far away from those we did for the other dress. I'm actually going to be using this dress that I've had forever. I've never worn it. I liked the flowiness of it online, but when it got here, the body didn't come with it, and that's okay. I'm just gonna reuse it, right? And then we're also gonna be using this tablecloth. Stay with me, I have a plan. Sort of. I thrifted this tablecloth a few months ago. It was just too pretty to let go. I didn't really have a plan for it. But oddly enough, these two materials really look good together. To me at least, they look great. First things first, let me go put this on. Okay, so this is the dress. I bought it from, I think it was Fashion Nova. Without the pins, it has this strip in the middle and also at the back. So the vision is to essentially eliminate this middle portion and make this portion go all around the bottom. And then, I don't know if I like the V. We did something with a V sort of situation for the previous dress. And, you know, I like to change the game all the way around. For the design, I'm thinking fairy tale, ethereal, fantasy, Little Mermaid, that sort of thing. Something very flowy, but also really just enchanting. It took me a few minutes to figure out how I was going to use the tablecloth as a corset, but I started worrying whether or not I could actually make a corset from scratch in a pair. The more I look at this concept, the more I think of it as also a wedding guest dress that I could wear, or you know, just something like, what if there's a fancy dinner? So this dress will get multiple wears in theory. I've been feeling like I'm getting sick and immediately no. Okay, so now that we have the idea down on paper, it is time to do a mock-up because I'm a mock-up girly now. And I purchased this huge roll of draping materials, so yeah, we're gonna make a mock-up. This took a while to figure out, especially the bust to waist area. Okay, so we have our mock-up and I did a little bit of fidgeting with it. I actually traced a corset top that I already had in my closet. Yeah, this is how we got here. I've been editing for like 3 hours now. It was upside down. But I think we have something that's kind of fitting my size and shape that I want based on the design. Now that I feel a bit comfortable with the mock-up, we're gonna go ahead and start cutting the lining out. I'll be using this leftover satin silky material. It's a bit more structurally sound than the mock-up. It blends with the other colors nicely. And here's the boning. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to watch a video about this boning situation. I think you can actually take out this plastic part, sew the casing onto the fabric, and then put it back in. Anyway, it's time to go cut. I don't know what happened to the footage, but we have a total of 10 pieces mirrored. Let's get this cracking. So we're just gonna sew up the center pieces first, or the front pieces. And I'm also using, I think, a 5/8 seam allowance. Now that we have the mock-up and our bases situated, it's time for a break. I thrifted the most beautiful china I've ever seen a few days ago. It's still in the car because it's about 3 boxes. It was a deal. When I say a deal, a deal. It's about 97 pieces with service for 12 people, and that's very shocking for the price I got it for. I'm hoping to buy some cute storage containers for them and gift it to myself for my birthday, which is about 2 months away-ish. So yeah, it'll be a great surprise for me. For our health and safety, I'm going to do a lead test on them. I ordered one through Amazon and it just said it got delivered, so we're gonna pick that up as well when we go out to get the china. And yeah, let's go. I had to put on pants, sorry, but now we're gonna go. I read somewhere that a lot of china that's pre the 1970s have a lot of lead in there and it's toxic, so I just wanted to check it out. And I'm hoping for the best that it's not at all toxic and I didn't just waste money on this china. But either way, it's so pretty. It's just really beautiful. And so we're gonna have a little bit of faith and we're gonna do it. Okay, so we have the sample box. This is the box they let me go through to see if I liked how the pieces look. So I'm just gonna show you guys a few of them. There's a lot of mini plates, but I bought them essentially from an antique collector and he was more than happy to get rid of them. Oh my God, look. I don't know if you guys can see it, but she's cute. The brand is Bavaria, Western Germany. yeah, a lead test. And we're gonna do a few swabs. I'm gonna do this before I unpack all the rest of it. You just gotta wet this real quick. And then I'll use this little one. If this turns red, we have a problem, Houston. It's set to rub for 30 seconds. Okay, so this is how it came out. I think we're in the clear, so we're gonna unpack it all. You cannot tell me this is not the most adorable china you ever seen. If you've ever seen Alice in Wonderland, you will know how much this little teacup thing means to me. And the rest of the pieces are obviously beautiful. Okay, so I'm gonna start unpacking. I don't know what this is supposed to be used for, but it's gorgeous. Am I ever going to host 12 people for a dinner? I don't know. I might be in my hostess era, honestly, at this point. You know, at least I'm prepared to host 12 people. Okay, so we have all our pieces unpacked, and all I gotta say is, I think I've been distracted long enough, so I guess it's time to get back in the game. Okay, so today we're gonna be doing the boning. I researched a few videos last night, and so we're gonna measure and then cut out pieces that we need. So let's go ahead and do that. I ironed out the seams also. If this was gonna be my outer shell, it would look horrendous because the seams are kind of puckering even if they're ironed out. So before we start measuring and cutting the boning, I'm going to put some stay stitches at the top and bottom of the corset just so I have an idea of where to stop. So now that we have our stay stitches in place, we're going to go ahead and cut the boning. I honestly just eyeballed it and cut the boning the same length as the seams, and then I removed the plastic from the casing and attached them over the seams with pins. Okay, so we have all our boning channels pinned up, so we're gonna sew this. It's probably gonna take a second. Hopefully I sew accurately and the other side doesn't look like shit when I turn it up. I feel like now would be a really good time to color match, so that's what we're gonna do actually. I don't think I have anything specifically this color. I have this kind of tannish. It's not white, it's like tan. I think this color is going to be our best bet. As you can see, I've used it a lot, so hopefully it lasts the entire project. The way I'm fighting for my life right now, this fabric is drifting. So we have all our boning channels sewn in. My top stitching is not the best, mostly because it's satin and it's just gonna look crumply, but this is going to be the inside, so no one's gonna see it. My biggest concern right now though is whether the boning is gonna fit through the channels, because I did sew a little bit in from the edge. But we'll see. We're gonna see right now. Okay, so the girlies had to burn the edges of the boning. This is supposed to smooth out the edges so it doesn't puncture the fabric later on. I don't know how true this is, but I'm gonna do it because she looked like she was dead ass. And better safe than sorry, you know? This is kind of a snug fit, but it's working. Okay, so we have all the boning in. It's looking pretty. But yeah, I think it's time to cut the shells, and that means cutting the tablecloth. I'm really nervous right now, but we need to do it, okay? We just gotta get through it. But yeah, I'm really nervous. Okay, so we have our pieces cut out. I never want to be this nervous about cutting fabric ever again. So now that we have all the pieces cut out, it's time to do what we did for the lining minus the boning. So this shouldn't take too long. Yeah. I don't know what happened to the footage, but we have a total of 10 pieces mirrored, and we're just going to sew them together. Okay, so we have our shell ready. I was kind of scared when I accidentally cut a piece twice in the same direction, but we had just enough to fix that. So now it's time to put the outer shell and the lining together, and we'll see what we have so far. I'll try it on. I don't even know what day it is, but we're gonna try it on the corset. I will never complain about a dress costing hundreds of dollars because the time it took to get the boning right, and even right now I'm not even sure if it's right. I've had to make a bunch of adjustments, so I'm gonna show you guys. Okay, so this is how we're looking. I know it's a bit of a jump scare. Hopefully this part doesn't bite me in the butt because I really wanted the little cuts or the V's to go to the side, but it might be just an awkward piece. It's kind of hard to explain. Well, not really. The zipper I really want at the sides so I don't need to search for help sometimes, because you know a lot of dresses have zippers at the back and then it's so hard to zip up. So I wanted the zipper at the side so I didn't have to go through that anymore. Well, at least with this dress. But this is where we're at. We're going to put on the outer shell and start to get this together because I spent way too much time on constructing this. But at the end of the day, I'm not an expert, so I'm not even that mad at myself. Okay, so we're just going to sew the two pieces together. And I'm starting at the top because I do want to check the rest of this and make sure all the seams align with the boning. So now we have the two pieces attached. Literally just sewed right across the boning line just to keep it consistent. So now we're going to turn this over and see what we need to see. I'm being more transparent on here. So this is how the inside's looking so far. As you can see, it's not perfect, but it's the inside. No one's going to know. And I kind of wish I did like the cupping boning situation, but I was already mentally depleted when I did this last night. And so far it's looking cute. I would say I do have a little bit of alterations to make right here because it's kind of puckering, but other than that, I'm loving where we're going with this, and it kind of feels like we're getting close to the finish line, so I love that for me. So what I'm gonna do now is go hunt for my zipper because I didn't pull that out when I pulled out everything else. So I'm gonna look for that, and then we're gonna install the zipper so we can actually see a bodice. Okay, so this is the only zipper I could find, so now we are going to have to look up how to do an invisible zipper. Have I done an invisible zipper before? Yes. Did I forget everything? Absolutely.
Edges will be hidden, but if you're in the main areas, leaving the zipper.
This is a bit random, but I just discovered that you can adjust the metal stopper on the zipper by sliding it. Or this might just be a cheap zipper. I'm trying to get right up to the line where the teeth are. Before we start attaching the bottom, I'm actually going to put a stay stitch at the edge of the corset so I know exactly where everything's going. It is not moving because the lining and the outer shell isn't really attached. So we're going to do that real quick. I keep having to check to make sure things are lining up. And I'm going to use my pinking shears to just trim the excess that we don't need at all. I'm actually just going to go ahead and put my pearl detail on the corset. I have these 2 packs of pearl, but I'm going to be sewing them on inside. Wherever you see the little florets are, I don't think that's the right word, but wherever you see those, I'm going to be sewing a pearl in the middle of it, and I think it would be really cute. So let's do that while we marinate. Okay, so it's now time to cut this dress up. We literally only have the bottom left to do and we'll be done with this dress. So I'm really excited. I carefully cut out the flowy panels and then pin them together. Now we just gotta sew up the sides to the bottom. Okay, so we have all our beads sewn on. I don't know if you guys can see them, but they're on. And I must say it's looking pretty cute. Definitely giving Little Mermaid. And also we've figured out what we're gonna do. We're gonna take out this safety stitch I put at the bottom earlier because we need to attach the skirt to the lining. Okay, so we've detached it. The zipper's in place, so we can't do anything much about that. We're gonna flip this up. can show the skeleton. And I'm just gonna pin the skirt where I think it'll fall properly, and we'll do a little bit of testing. So yeah. The last thing we have to do is close the bottom of the corset. I figured the easiest way at this point was to attach bias tape and tuck the edges. After I sewed another stay stitch, I trimmed the excess fabric, then sewed the bias tape on. Okay, so we are done. I don't know what happened along the line of recording this, but we're done. If I had the opportunity to go back in time and redo graduation, redo the dress, this would be the dress. And I also had this tan scarf just in the closet, and are you kidding me? You guys are actually watching me learn to sew in real time, so it's stressful for the both of us. Anyways, I have one more dilemma left, and that is what shoes should I wear for the photos. For option 1, we have these Steve Madden needlepoint heels, open-toed. I don't know how everyone feels about open-toed for graduation, but my toes also aren't done. And then our second option are these white pumps. Really cute, really simple, classy. You can never go wrong with a pump, right? I'm also thinking about changing my hair color for the pictures. Maybe like a brown. So stay tuned. You'll probably see it on my Instagram. Okay, let's do a quick montage. But this has been one hell of a journey. I'm also going to be using this dress in one of my mini films that I'll be shooting in the next few weeks, so I'm really excited about that. But for my next project, we're probably going to keep it really chill, so I'll see you guys there.